That's the essence of the Supreme Court's decision in their recent ruling about the laws that have been passed in Texas. Now, what kind of healthcare facility would not want to meet safety regulations? Could we possibly think of a reason that an abortion provider wouldn't want to be held to the standards of a surgical center? Is there any logical reason for that? Hillary Clinton thought that this was a wonderful thing for women. In fact, she tweeted that this is a victory for safe and healthy abortions, which is ironic on a number of levels. First and foremost, it's ironic that it is those who are for life that want women to be cared for. The Supreme Court decision actually cut through the lie of those who claim to be pro-choice, who claim to be for women, and they refuse to even give women a normal standard of medical care at an abortion facility. It cut through the lie, through the deception that places like Planned Parenthood are for women. They're actually for profit. They're actually for living without regulation, because regulations would force them to standards that they admitted themselves would force them to close. It's not for women's best good. But Hillary Clinton's tweet also revealed something else very ironic, which is she said that this is a victory for safe abortions. What's safe about abortions for a baby? The point of an abortion is to exterminate a life. That's what abortion is. It's murder. For Hillary Clinton to say that now abortions will be more safe because clinics do not have to be held to surgical standards is to ignore women and it's to ignore the life that is in the womb. It's actually a morally insane argument. It is out of touch with reality to say that abortions are now more safe because clinics can go unregulated. There's nothing safe about killing a child. There is nothing good for a woman to be in an unregulated facility.
About the options that you have with healthcare like this, there are several other clinics that don't provide abortion.
Hey, what is it?
There
you go. You want one?
If you come over here for a second, I'd be happy to share it with you. It can really help you make a much more informed choice about the healthcare that you're seeking. There are other options besides this, options that don't practice abortion. Please, if you're willing, I can help you look into them.
So I want to remind you, in all of the shame and disappointment that I feel in our government, which has failed our least and our weakest and our most helpless, our babies, and the disappointment I feel in our Supreme Court, who has decided to politicize instead of care about morality, what I'm not ashamed of is the gospel. Romans 1:16, Paul said, "I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes." The good news about Jesus Christ is powerful enough to save. So while a place like Planned Parenthood exists to kill, the gospel exists to save. And it is powerful enough to do that. And it can do that for you. It can change your heart. And it can change your life. And it can save you from destruction. It can save you from yourself. We don't have to be ashamed of the gospel because it is God's power. There's also God's righteousness because it says the righteousness of God is revealed from faith for faith because the righteous live by faith. All of us have faith in something. As a Christian, I choose to have my faith in Jesus Christ and in the word that he has breathed out. There are some who choose to put their faith in science, so-called, or in medicine, so-called, or in their own goodness, so-called. But everyone puts their confidence in something. But the gospel is the only something that leads to eternal salvation. It's important to know that the good news of Jesus Christ is that he lived a perfect life, and then he died a sacrificial death, and then he rose victoriously from the dead, and that message can save you. But it is every bit as important that you hear what Paul says next. What Paul says next is that the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. While it is 100% true that the gospel can save you and God has provided his Son to pay for your sins, it is every bit as true that God's wrath is revealed, it is poured out against ungodliness and unrighteousness of men. Anything that stands opposed to God is something that goes underneath God's wrath. God is somebody who creates life. Planned Parenthood is something that destroys life. God is the one who says that it is righteous to not kill. Planned Parenthood says, come and we will kill for you. And God's wrath is revealed against that kind of ungodliness and that kind of unrighteousness. And it's revealed against people who still might try to suppress the truth that God is real. And they can act like this. How do I get hold of the truth now? And if that's what we have to do, if you're going to ignore the truth, just like right now, you're probably trying to suppress the sound of my voice. You have to suppress the truth that you know to be true. That God is real. That there is actually evil in the actions of killing a baby and failing to truly care for women. There is evil, and you know that in your conscience. But you actively push it down. Let's act like there isn't a God. What that leads to is moral insanity. It leads to foolishness. Because this verse goes on to say that although they knew God, they didn't honor him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking. Their foolish hearts were darkened. That's what happens. Your thinking becomes corrupt. Your heart becomes hard. It says, claiming to be wise, they became fools. And that's what it is.